YouTube has plenty of editing experts that give out advice that may seem wicked smart, but in reality can do more harm than good. And some of the expert tricks they recommend are not even applicable on YouTube. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you about 5 such tricks that are wrongly seen as good, but can be super harmful. So let's dive right into it. The first such piece of expert advice is using loud music to create energy. You won't believe how many videos on small channels suffer from this problem. You open the video and instead of enjoying the content, you're forced to find the appropriate volume level so your ears won't bleed. While the advice itself may seem logical, turn up the volume of the music to create more energy, but as soon as it comes to implementation, problems begin, especially when there is a voiceover in the video. For some reason, many people struggle to correctly mix audio tracks of different volumes, resulting in the music completely overpowering the voiceover. So instead of, for example, learning the history of Friends, you hear the Spanish anthem at full volume, which was originally supposed to be music in the background. But this problem is very easy to avoid. Just think carefully about sound design and do not take every expert advice as the only possible way of doing things. The second aspect of this musical problem is often the suitability of the music track itself. And there is a very simple reason for this too. Most people use free music straight from YouTube's Creative Studio, and the tracks there are often not what you expect. Sometimes it can lead to fun and slightly embarrassing experiences. The video appears to be serious, but instead of dramatic music, a cheerful jingle plays at full volume. Don't do that. So I will say it once again. Approach sound design with caution and careful consideration. Editing can be hard, especially when working with professional software. Personally, I prefer simpler editing tools, which is why I use Movavi Video Editor for most of my projects. With Movavi Unlimited subscription, you can access Movavi's best tools, including video editing, photo editing, screen recording, and file conversion, all in one user-friendly platform. For the price of one app, you get 9 programs and 1 year of unlimited access to the effects store. The software is straightforward to navigate. You can complete each stage of the editing process, from preparing your footage to creating engaging visual designs for your videos with just a few clicks. Compared to professional editing software, Movavi Unlimited is more accessible and will run smoothly on the average computer. Now get ready to have your mind blown, folks. Movavi's got a deal that's too good to pass up. An 80% discount on all the apps in an amazing Movavi Unlimited plan. That's right, you heard me, 80% off. So don't wait, hit the link and get yourself the ultimate video editing and production experience at a price you won't believe. Trust me, this is one offer you don't want to miss. Now let's shift our focus from sounds to the editing itself. If you go right now and watch a few video editing tutorials, you will surely hear the phrase camera zooms help with retention more than once. And it's true to an extent. Let me explain. In their core, camera zooms as a technique is great and can help keep viewers' attention if done correctly. But that's exactly where the catch is. You need to be somewhat skilled to make your zooms work as intended. And these so-called video experts don't teach this. Most of the time they recommend simply cropping the image, increasing the scale, and that's it. No animations, motion blur, nothing. But it's much more complicated than this. Once or twice, this simplistic approach will work. But if camera zooms are your most popular trick, you will have to work harder to make them really pop and not just distract. For example, you can always do zooms with a keyframe animation. I have already shown how to do it more than once. You can always add some kind of sound effect or the shaky camera effect or transition with a zoom effect. You need to experiment and find tricks that will work specifically in your videos, otherwise you'll just have bland and boring videos that are annoying to watch. Also, if you want to spice things up even further, you could combine the zoom effect with image mirroring, aka flipping horizontally. This way you can combine the best of both worlds, the dynamics of the zoom and the visual novelty of image flipping. But again, it is very important not to overdo it. Don't forget about keeping things balanced. Ideally, you should make all parts of your video work as a whole: the script, the editing, the shooting, and so on. The next expert tip very often hurts small channels, especially if the video is edited on a computer with a cheap screen. Of course, I'm talking about color grading. Online experts often say that with good color grading, any video becomes better. The bright colors attract attention. Most novice YouTubers, when they hear such advice from so-called experts, start mindlessly cranking the saturation and gamma to the max, absolutely destroying the picture. And even if they try to be careful with their color grading, the inexpensive nature of their screens just doesn't allow them to correctly tune everything up, and those flashy colors just ruin the viewing experience. And after all, if the video visually looks bad, there is no editing trick to save it. That is why I always advise not to get carried away with color grading, keeping things simple, just good enough. Also, if you're like me and often edit videos in Movavi Video Editor, you may want to take a closer look at the built-in LUTs, aka ready-made presets. By applying one LUT, you can completely skip the long process of manual color grading, picking the parameters, and so on. And the last thing about colors, you should try and shoot well first. Make sure your videos look visually okay without blowing out highlights or out of place white balance. The technique number 4 that is often advised is cinematic editing. Yes, you heard me right, cinematic editing kills your videos. To understand how this advice can do harm, you first need to understand what I mean when I say cinematic editing. In movies, the prevalent type of shot is static and long, which works out really well in the cinema. Cinematic editing in most cases is more aimed at aesthetics rather than entertainment. Of course, there are exceptions, but they are exceptions. On YouTube, entertainment is the name of the game, and many techniques used in cinematic editing won't work here. Of course, the editing style largely depends on your content niche itself, but still. Therefore, I recommend focusing on finding your own style rather than copying someone else's. This way, you not only simplify editing in the future, but also make yourself stand out. Another common piece of advice you can hear online is to use subtitles. People think that if you do subtitles for the entire video, then the presence of those subtitles will increase retention. But in fact, subtitles are a very subtle tool that you need to know how to use. For example, take a look at Mr. Beast's videos. Almost every part of his video has subtitles. But will all videos equally benefit from having subtitles? Of course not. In a slow vlog or a video about flowers, subtitles will be useless, but in a dynamic video or shorts, be sure to use subtitles. But let's still assume you need subtitles. It is very important to choose the right font, position, size, and even animation. If you want to create dynamics with subtitles, then you definitely need to animate them somehow. Luckily, there are dozens of different text animations available in Movavi Video Editor by default, so you can add subtitles in minutes. In general, I recommend using subtitles only to show some important elements in the video or to draw attention to something. Only for highlights, because once again, subtitles should be used with care to achieve the maximum effect. The common principle is that most advice can be harmful if not executed correctly. And here we're trying our hardest to help you avoid them to make your editing faster and easier. And to know more, sub to the channel and see you in the next one.